Hello Internet, I'm Stan and I want to change the way you make mac and cheese. This is Making Yummy, Fast Mac and Cheese. Mac and cheese is probably the ultimate quick to make lazy meal. You're hungry? Boom, there's a box of mac and cheese. It only takes about 10 minutes to make a box of macaroni and cheese. Yep, I actually did time it, and if we're going to make it faster than the box stuff, that means I'm going to have to beat 8 minutes and 55 seconds, but with scratch-made mac and cheese. Now you're probably thinking, that's not doable. Well, you haven't seen my plan yet.
Skazimy. Что хочу снять?
It was like he didn't even understand what I was saying. We're going to have to do this the hard way. How did we get to mac and cheese being such a staple that it's in homes all around the world? Like many pasta dishes in the West, mac and cheese takes inspiration from Italy, where they baked pasta and cheese into a casserole. But it wasn't until the 18th century before we got the first modern version of macaroni and cheese from housekeeper and culinary innovator Elizabeth Raffald. In her cookbook, The Experienced English Housekeeper, she introduced a dish called macaroni and cheese that would eventually make its way across the Atlantic via Thomas Jefferson's chef, James Hemings. Hemings was pivotal in perfecting the dish. James traveled to Paris with Jefferson, where he learned French cuisine, and upon their return, he refined the recipe, making it a staple in American households. This version of mac and cheese has been made in households across the US and all over the world in tons of variations. Classic mac and cheese is still relatively simple to make. You need equal parts butter and flour that you cook together to make a roux. Then little by little, you add milk till you make a creamy bechamel sauce. Take grated cheese and melt it into the newly created bechamel. This is your cheese sauce that your noodles will be drenched in. Add your cheesy noodles to a baking dish. Cover with breadcrumbs and cheese. And bake it until it's golden brown and bubbly. The traditional version of mac and cheese takes about an hour to make, which means we've got our work cut out for us. Because I've got to make mac and cheese in less time than the box stuff and still have it be made from scratch. And it's got to be fast, because I'm a bit too lazy to spend an hour cooking every time I want some mac and cheese. Even though mac and cheese had become popular, we didn't get boxed mac and cheese until the late 1930s. It wasn't until Grant Leslie, a Missouri salesman, used rubber bands to attach processed cheese slices to boxes of pasta in an attempt to increase pasta sales that we got the first iteration of this quick meal. I think we can take inspiration from this version of mac and cheese. All we need is a pre-made cheese sauce and pasta. To keep our mac and cheese sauce from splitting when you reheat it, we're going to use this, sodium citrate. Sodium citrate is sodium salt made from citric acid. It's also an emulsifier, so it's going to keep our water and fat from separating when we make our cheese sauce. This is important because when we reheat it, it won't separate. To make our mac and cheese sauce, we're going to finely grate some cheese. Then add water to a pan. Add our sodium citrate. Stir it in until it's dissolved. Bring it to a simmer. Add our cheese and blend it in. I poured the cheese sauce into these cube molds, which I then put in the freezer. And now that we have our frozen cheese sauce, all we have to do is take it out of the freezer when we're ready to make some mac and cheese. I took my cheese sauce and vacuum sealed it so I'd have a packet of cheese sauce. Now I'm finally ready to test out this mac and cheese recipe. At this point, it's as simple as the box stuff, but we don't know if it's faster yet. All I need to do is boil some noodles, drain them, add the sauce, and stir it in. And that's it. You've got mac and cheese. But is this version of mac and cheese any faster? That's what I've got to know. I've got to know if all this effort and time I put in is worth it. Did we succeed? Is it faster than 8 minutes and 55 seconds? Did all of this work pay off? The multiple bowls of mac and cheese? There's only one way to find out. And the clock is ticking. This is amazing. Less than 6.5 minutes. I honestly didn't think it would come out this quick and actually easy to make. Now it's all up to you. Do you continue to make box mac and cheese? Or do you give something new a try? That's it for this video, but I think you might like this video next.